sky. Well, you cry out and you don't know why. Yeah. Come on now, let your feet fly. Come on now, let's go for a ride. Come on now, let your feet fly.
We're live. We got Gary Taylor here live with us.
I'm trying to be incognito with you.
You are.
We're not going to tell you who we got with us.
Nobody can recognize me.
You don't know who it is. It's Gary Taylor.
Yeah.
Anyways,
our first return.
the second one actually, like you said.
Oh, we did a thing in the park.
Yeah, we did that thing, but I don't think that counts on the red couch. Though,
No,
right?
that wasn't on the show.
So I'm the only second one?
That's
Yes.
I feel real good.
Well, we had a good time last time we had you here. It was lots of fun.
Where did we leave off last time? Lacrosse championships on acid.
I was on mescaline. Back in Windsor, Ontario.
That's right.
Yeah,
A little bit of Long John Baldry we had.
lots of Long John Baldry.
Yes,
for
cool
sure.
stories about that too. And then you working with, you were also
Annihilator.
and you also worked with, in the beginning when you were playing drums, you were also with Bill Henderson and all them in the Vancouvers, weren't you?
We were pretty well the beginning of that family tree. It was the classics, the Seafun Classics. That's what it was, the Seafun Classics. And that was myself, Tom Baird, Howie Vickers, Glenn Miller, Brian Russell, and Claire Lawrence.
Yeah,
Claire Lawrence, and that's, myself and Tom Baird started that group up, and we're both Burnaby guys. And
Wow.
we started that up, and that was the beginning of that part of the class. Yeah, the classics. And then we became the Seafun Classics because the radio station.
Yeah, the radio station.
Us, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
And so it was cool. I mean, I remember playing on top of a A&W roof. And
Like the Beatles did. But more
and then
catchy.
we did the Canadian Beatles at the Hudson's Bay Malt Shop. Also, I
never knew that.
Huh?
I never knew that one, yeah.
Then we did that, and when we had the malt shop down in the basement.
Yeah.
And we also did. Eaton's had a series of stuff, and we did that. We put on wigs, and
Do the Beatles stuff.
Yeah, for the Beatles. So we were the Canadian Beatles. We even did a thing at the War Memorial over in Victoria. A big show over there, And we were. And then that band auditioned for the Let's Go show.
Yes, the Let Go show. Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Did we talk about that before?
Yeah, a little bit, but talk a little more about that because that's a great experience.
Yeah, well, that is pretty monumental, really.
Yes, it is.
Because every band in BC tried for that show.
Yeah, you guys
The
got
Let's Go show, and
That's a TV show.
the Let's Go TV show, CBC.
It was
Right on
sort of like it was
nationwide.
you know what? It was like Canada's version of Dick Clark.
Oh, okay.
And it was right across Canada, except we were the house band. I don't think Dick Hart had a house band.
I don't think he had a husband. You're right.
And but
That's
when
right.
we auditioned, we played a song which was started as it was a classical song.
Right.
Da 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 da. And then I was like, okay, everybody, the producer and the director were all watching our band. And of course, we didn't play rock right away, but then we got in, and right away we went into the song. And probably halfway through, I think they told us to stop, and then they come up and says, okay, that's it.
Good.
We were good. Because they knew we could play.
Yeah, right.
They knew we could play, and we all looked pretty damn good. I don't know anybody. The most character guy in that band was Glenn Miller, the bass player.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Claire Lawrence.
Yes.
And then Howie Vickers. He was the beauty of the front man, beauty, and a great soul singer.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably one of the few white guys that was singing soul in Vancouver at the time.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Because there wasn't a lot of soul in Vancouver at that time.
Well, it wasn't.
There was Jason Hoover.
There was only 3 black guys in Vancouver.
Yeah, Jason Hoover.
I don't know, maybe him. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
But there wasn't very.
I know
Jason
some artists,
Hoover,
yeah.
Can't You Steal,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I don't know who else. Oh yeah, well, the best of the best and the world best was Laverne Gerard, who played with the Shades.
Yeah.
Okay, Laverne Gerard was Donnie Gerard's brother. I grew up with those guys because we lived on Union, around the corner from them. They lived
Okay.
and they were one of the few black families in Vancouver
neighborhood,
at the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But do you know the name Donnie Gerard?
Yeah.
What band?
I can't remember though, but I
Well,
know.
now you'll remember now because it was Skylark.
Oh, yes, Skylark.
He's the voice of Skylark.
Is he the voice of Skylark? Yeah.
That's Donnie Gerard.
Wow.
And
Well, you know what? That's amazing because you know a lot of people at that time that were really like monumental songs came out around that time. Like we were talking before when we talked to Tommy Stewart. You know, like he was around that time period too.
Yeah.
And El Harlow.
Yeah.
And they were talking like about people like you guys that kind of those. It was all about the songs, right? And the songs were really good.
well,
at
we
that
grew
time.
up on R&B.
Yeah. And a lot of the bands
Pretty
at that
well.
time,
Yeah,
Vancouver was
I mean,
pretty R&B
Whenever
oriented.
you want to, like things like Knock on Wood,
Yeah,
which
sure.
everybody played. Everybody.
Yeah.
Got everybody. And then of course Bill Doggett's Honky Tonk,
Yes.
which when nobody was dancing, at the beginning, the breakdown, you play Honky Tonk, everybody gets up. Do you know that song?
No.
That's that in that day, that song, everybody played it pretty well because everybody got up and danced.
Yeah, so they knew it was
And,
a dance.
And of course we were hot, but we could play anything basically. But we did a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
R&B because
That was
we
hot.
all loved the R&B.
Yeah, because there was Night Train Review, remember that?
Yeah,
band
oh
too?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
of course.
5-Man Cargo.
Well, yeah, don't think they're R&B though.
No, but they did do some R&B, didn't they?
Maybe they, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
And I just remember the one.
I know that poster, I sent you a poster, I think.
Yes,
5-Man Cargo at the King of Clubs, which was my first club.
that's right.
And it was $1 admission.
Nice.
It's called the good old days. I don't know.
Now that's like $50 to get in the.
Oh yeah.
What'd you pay to see the Stones, Joe? Was it $1?
I know. The Rolling Stones in '72 was only like $5.
No, in
What show was that?
In
Stones?
20
Yeah.
What was
with,
it in-
with $5? No, sorry, I'm wrong. $7.50, and guess who was opening Talk About R&B? Stevie Wonder. I mean, what a show!
You said it was Stevie Wonder too?
Yeah, he opened up for the Stones.
God.
It was such a good show.
And then what was it?
Yeah.
What was it in last year?
Last year we paid
$700.
$700
Oh, then you
for
got the
tickets.
scalpers, you got this, you
Oh,
got that.
Yeah, nowadays it's totally different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
100%.
and my first band that I ever was in was called the Chimes.
Right.
And the lead singer of the Chimes, you may recognize that name, was Joni Moore. You ever heard her?
Yes,
Joni
I have
Moore?
heard you anymore. Yes.
She's had great career. She was in the band, and she was my first girlfriend.
Oh, nice.
And then she gave me
What were you?
my first broken heart.
7?
My first broken
8
heart.
years?
Seven.
Broken heart.
Yeah, I'm ahead of my time. Yeah. No, I wasn't that advanced. Although I did get busted when I
You
was.
packed a lot in here, so I figure you must have
Well,
started.
I did get
kindergarten.
busted at the age of 4.
There you go.
What happened? That's in my book, actually.
It is.
Because I had to say, things that I remember, it doesn't matter what it was. I didn't do anything bad ever, really. But what happened was I was going to school. I wasn't going to school, but I don't know. But I was curious. I was always curious, so I was hiding underneath the steps of the school, looking up girls' dresses, figuring out what was going down, or what was coming up, or whatever it's going.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking of myself as Marco Polo. You know? Sort of like exploring, you know? Because what do? 4 years old, you're not thinking of sex, you know?
No.
Yeah, right.
You're just I was always curious. That's the nature of why I got such a long history. I was always pushing the envelope. But I got busted by my sisters, okay?
Oh, that's
And they took me on to my mother. And I wasn't traumatized because they said, just don't again. Because I could have been traumatized,
Yeah, sure.
Sure you could have, yeah.
but I wasn't.
So let me ask you, Gary.
You don't want to talk about looking at girls' skirts anymore?
No, I do, but like
I
I have no problem with that. Quite frankly, I just what I wanted to talk to you about was about when you talked about owning bars and that and having places. I remember you from Gary Taylor's.
Right.
And
Gary
I
Taylor's
love,
Rock Room or Show Lounge? Gary Taylor's Rock Room, I guess.
yeah, on Hornby there, right? Was it
On
just-
Hornby.
Yes.
But I had, before that was Gary Taylor's
Show Lounge, yes, I
On
remember.
Grammar.
Oh, yes, yes, that's right.
I had 4 clubs at once. I didn't know that.
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Well,
Wow. So yeah, so my parents probably knew you because my mom owned a place called the West Coast Central Club on 380.
I remember that name.
Yeah, and so, but anyways, yeah, I played your show lounge, not the show lounge, the rock room. The rock room.
That
yeah.
was a great room. Eh?
Oh, I loved
Huh?
it. I love that room.
Yeah.
His that you would have loved that bar. That bar was just like, what a great place.
It was the best. I gotta take my glove.
Yeah.
I gotta. Here I am.
Here you are.
That's it. That's me.
But
Woo! That light's bright. Okay.
yeah, no, I liked it. I liked it then. It was like such a cool bar.
Well,
How
yeah.
long did you have that one for now?
I don't know, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
Because why it was it
You're like
went into
that.
different transitions. It was well, there's a long story behind it. Or how it because I had my club on Granville, Gary Taylor's Show Lounge,
Right.
and I had a lounge 2 doors over, which is part of the Castle Hotel, called the Office.
Yes.
So I had live music in the Office. In fact, Al Foreman was the first guy that played them
Wow.
at the Office.
At the office.
And in the Show Lounge, I had dancers, and I call them jazz dancers. I don't call them strippers. And they had to dance to live jazz.
oh, that's
So when
Cool.
when you walk in,
Wow.
you see a 5-piece jazz band, all the top jazz players. Jerry Counter, Belinda Whitaker, Buff Allen, of course, everybody wanted that gig because
Yeah.
it was a gig. It was 6 days a week,
Yeah.
and it was, but that was an incredibly successful place.
I like that. You know what I like about that is see, Ash, when he did it, he didn't have canned music for the noise.
Yeah.
He had a live goddamn band,
that-
which the feel would be so much different in the room that it'd be
Oh.
entertaining as fuck.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
Nobody could even touch that room because.
No.
But I bet
Who would think of that?
there was a break in between slow time between 3 and 8. It was recorded music, but I had Bose speakers, and it was a ceiling that was round. And I had 8 Bose speakers faced to the walls, so you had this sense around sound.
Wow.
So you had a beautiful sound.
Wow.
And all the dancers, none of them had ever danced before, because there was no agent or nothing. I just met all these girls
Right.
somehow. Mostly I just see a girl and, that was nice, and say, hey, what's up? And because I'm a jazz musician, which
Yeah.
I think, you know that or not?
Yeah.
you know.
I'm a studied jazz.
But you know what? A lot of you and Tommy Stewart is also a jazz drummer. Like a lot of guys back at that point learned jazz first. So like Charlie Watts, Rolling Stones, jazz drummer.
Yeah, jazz.
Ginger Baker.
Ginger Baker, Cream.
When you can play jazz, you can play anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Except you gotta. I remember because I was a jazz drummer and I was playing it in Chinatown at the Blue Moon Cafe.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You never heard of Blue Moon, probably?
I did
I've
because
heard
my
of it.
I
parents.
think it was a Blue Moon.
Yeah, it was called Blue Moon. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Something Moon. But I was playing with Tommy Chong, Bobby Taylor.
Bobby Taylor,
And
yes.
I'd never played with those guys before, but I know that I was playing because they needed a drummer for whatever or something subbing. But I was overplaying like a jazz drummer can.
Yes.
Tommy turned around and I said, Garrett, backbeat. That's it. Keep it simple. And I learned right there. And who would have known? Like Tommy Tron was a great blues player.
He is a great blues player, great
Yeah.
guitar player.
Yeah, a great guitar.
Yeah, I just recently saw him and Cheech and Chong were on a talk show,
Oh yeah.
and they just did a documentary of themselves
Mm-hmm.
and how they don't get
I've seen
along,
that.
how they never got along,
Oh yeah. No,
how they
it's,
fought. But Tommy came from here, right? Basically from Vancouver.
Well, yeah, because he had the club below the Embassy Ballroom,
That's right.
and the band that was playing there. Well, he named it. I think they changed it pretty good. You know the name of that
The
band?
Vancouvers.
Huh?
Vancouvers?
No, it's, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and I built my first club when I was 23 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a King of Clubs, which turned into
That's
the Purple
good.
Steer, which turned into the Garage, that was when I dropped acid with my girlfriend at the time when I did my, I only dropped acid once, so it was mescaline once playing lacrosse, okay? Standing in my shorts in front of 5,000 people, what's up? You know, you know. Yeah, and then it turned into the love affair.
Right.
We built that whole structure.
Wow.
It was a transition.
The love affair lasted a long time.
Oh, a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of the top bars in
Great.
Vancouver for a long time.
For a long
The
time.
tops anywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
well, known, and so.
What is going on with your book, Gary? You just mentioned that a minute ago.
Well, I'm writing away at it. It's a chore because you start the four, it's memoirs, and but I'm on the case. It's very exciting because at the age of 83, which I am now, I'll be 84 in November. There's a good reason to live if you've got something that excites you.
Gary, you look great for your age. I tell you that, man. You really do. And I tell Harvey, you should take a tip from Gary. He goes, Gary's at the pool, he's working out,
Yeah,
he
right.
takes care of himself, and because Harvey, you always get up. Harvey goes, I got a basement, I got a gym in my basement. I gotta go to the gym someday. I said, someday? It's in your goddamn basement.
Yeah.
Will you go to it now? Like,
What Harvey are you talking about?
Harvey McCormick.
Oh,
My basement.
Harvey. Shit, I forgot he was your bass player because, of course, I know Harvey quite well, but I
Yeah.
know more than his best friend, Vonnie Barbon, and
Yes.
Bob Harris.
Bob Harris, yeah.
Those guys are good friends of mine, and especially Vonnie's a great friend of mine. Love that guy. Well, I like to live, and I never thought about. I just knew that if you have a good character, you're not afraid of nothing, and you can talk,
Yeah, right.
and you look pretty good too, then shit happens.
Yeah.
A lot of shit happened. But going back to the classics.
Yes.
We backed everyone up that was anybody in Vancouver, and
Especially at
in
that
fact,
time.
that's when we went
Yeah,
on.
what year would this be?
Oh, you're talking
Was
60,
it 64?
64, 65, 66, yeah.
I think something.
Yeah, it's around that, just after the Beatles and the Stones came out. Yeah, they started really cooking. They said, because that's when they had, like, when he did the show, the TV show, that was like, I don't even think Dick Clark was even going, well, he was going.
I don't.
But
Maybe it was at the same time. I don't
But
know.
it was. But CBC was like, had this dance, like, live band playing, and a dance, right?
Dance hop or something.
Dance hop, and it was great because if you were a kid and if you were young, like I was, only 7 or 8, and I'm watching TV, I love to watch that because because I'm watching the band play, I'm watching music, I'm watching people dancing.
Susan Jacks, Terry Jacks, all of them,
Poppy Family, great band.
Just all the they played before the Poppy Family.
Yes, they did. Yes.
That's how people got discovered on that show.
Right.
And that show was
It was a really good show.
right across Canada in different cities also.
Yeah.
Halifax, Toronto, Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Guess Who.
Guess Who? I was just gonna say
Ottawa,
Guess Who.
and
That's where they broke out.
That
the
was
Guess
a
Who.
big show.
And then a lot of American shows would watch that CBC show.
Oh,
That's
sure,
that's how Guess Who got going because they watch and see the Guess Who on there.
Yeah.
There's something there. Let's take a look at these guys, right? they pick people out that way. And in Canada, the same thing. Like Susan Jackson said.
Now they have nothing.
Yeah, now they have nothing no more.
All they have is a bunch of crotch grabbers and hip hop. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know why they grabbed the crotch though. I don't figure that one out. You know what? You guys don't grab your crotch when you're cutting hair, do you?
I certainly not.
No.
I'm holding scissors, man. That would be terrible. That'd be the last time I ever did it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That motherfucking barber grabbed his crotch while he was cutting on hair.
Whatever happened to him? No. I'm quitting, boys.
Michael Jackson time.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Michael Jackson, I guess it's a long history of the club business, but the rock room, and I opened up the rock room
Yeah.
because when I had the Gary Taylor Show Lounge on Granville was the office. I went to Hawaii with my girlfriend before I opened up the office, which was a beautiful lounge, unbelievable, just beautiful. But I went to Hawaii because I was just going home, and then my girlfriend spotted. Her name was Kathy Faulkner, and she spotted a guy singing in the lounge, and she said, "You got to see this guy. He'd be perfect." Went to see him, Mike Young, Hawaiian, unbelievable.
Wow.
So what happened? I brought Mike Young and Butch O'Sullivan in from Hawaii to open up the office. Okay,
Wow.
but my landlord, so I knew I had a problem. Found out I guess I'm not sure the whole secret, but at the time I had two, but I was in Hawaii. Looking at this whole holiday. But my landlord, I was behind on my rent, but the rent was $15,000 a month. So
Even back then, that much, eh?
that's how, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
but that was for both. Well, I think it was for both places. Maybe just for one, and then I had to pay more. But I was making a lot of money, so it was the only game in town.
That's right.
But as
You
far
were
as
pretty
any
much.
class.
Yeah. You were.
And everybody went there. But he freaked out, and because I was behind on my rent, he locked the door of my office, room 127, which is quite notorious actually, first floor castle, and he had his son in there, and I come back, and I didn't know kind of what was going on, and I went to my office, and it was locked. There was two cops at the door, guarding the door.
Whoa.
In the old days. And of course, I know that I'm paying that kind of rent, and so I'm behind him. Times are whatever, I was doing well, but there's some ups and downs. So I said, oh, locked. Okay, so you know what I did? I kicked the door down.
Mm-hmm.
Right by I booted it right down. I was so pissed off. And then the desk was Mike Militich's son sitting there like, I said, get the fuck out, okay? And so he left, the cops left, everybody left.
Okay.
And then I decided I have to buy another club. I have to make some moves, so I took over a place and renovated. That's where Gary Taylor's rock room was.
Okay, yes. Yeah, great spot.
And then I had Gary Taylor's show lounge, Gary Taylor's office, Gary Taylor's rock room, and then I had another one downstairs, a lounge.
Yes, you
And
did.
Gary Taylor's rock room, it was a great room.
It was a great room. I love that room. And because you know what, because my buddy, we rented the PA for a while. We were in a band called Showbiz Kids.
Okay.
And Mike Filoni became your sound man for a while, and his girlfriend ran the
Mike worked for us with an outlet, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But Mike did that. I remember that because Mike says, "Okay, you guys are going to recording studio and recording at Tom Lavin's place for a while."
Blue Wave?
Blue Wave, and I says, "Yeah, we're going to be about 2 months." And he says, "Okay, I'm going to go work for Gary, take the PA over there." And
Yeah.
So, and
He was a hell of a guy. He's still working, isn't he? Or is he?
I think he's retired now.
Okay. Retired. Yeah.
Well, he ended up managing to meet the Rolling Stones on tour.
He did? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Road
he did.
manager.
He did road manager for the Rolling Stones for 3 years.
Wow.
And then guess what he did after that? After that, he became Mick Jagger's personal manager.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So how he got that was when he was working with Feldman and that Bruce. what they did was they opened up a touring company, right?
Mhm.
And then he got a gig road managing the Irish band, U2. So this is the story he told me. So they were in Boston, of course, Irish band in an Irish town,
Mhm.
and they're playing the arena. He gets up in the morning. He gets a phone. He goes get up, and the phone rings. He picks up the phone, and it's Mick Jagger. And Mick Jagger says, "Pack your bags. You're coming to work for me. You're going to manage our tour." And he says, "I talked to your boss, and somebody's coming to take over for Bono and help those guys out. You're going to work for me."
Oh,
and
wow.
he didn't believe it. He goes, he didn't think it was Mick right away. So he actually calls his boss and says, "That's not a prank. It's real, right?" He says, "Yeah, you just got hired by Mick Jagger." So
That's
he ended up.
where she live now with her?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Mike was great.
Yeah, who would know where he'd be would be
don't know.
Mick from Cease and Desist. Remember
I don't know.
Mark LaFrance and
Mark LaFosse ain't real.
yeah, and Mark and
Oh, Seats and Desist.
the bass player.
I don't remember his name, but I know Mark.
You know the Tel Aviv.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he talks to Mike still.
Okay. Cisco. He's
Yeah.
got a sound company too?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
But no, that's a food company.
It's
right?
food company. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so lots of crazy stuff.
So can I ask you a question? Ash, I want to ask him this one. See what you think. What do you think about what's going on down in Granville Street with the clubs? What's your opinion on the crap that's going down there? Because they're trying to fix it all up, and it's
what
just
did
a
they do
mess.
to it? I don't know.
Well, like for instance, like they've got all the SORs with
Yeah.
the people are,
Oh,
and then the
okay.
clubs are underneath, and they're having problems with the street people and the
Right,
drugs and everything.
right.
They want it all clean it all up because the bars are suffering, right?
Okay.
What would your take be on something like that?
Well, I don't even know why they put the SROs on that main street anyways, because
Yeah.
that's a marquee street,
Yeah.
like in Vancouver.
Yeah.
As soon as you get SROs, then you got all kinds of problems, you know. But I mean, the thinking that went into putting that into probably the most prolific street, one of the most prolific streets in Canada,
Yeah.
was pretty stupid, you
Yeah.
know, to
Yeah.
put it there.
Yeah.
Maybe they put it 1-2 blocks down or something, or do something,
Sure.
but not on your cool street.
Yeah.
So that's, what do I think? I think it was fucking stupid. And
Now they're going to try to get rid of them. They said.
well, then they build and then move everybody out at the same time. I don't know,
In the
and
summer
make
house and-
Granville the showcase street that it was supposed to be.
Like if they turned all those SROs into like boutique hotels,
Yeah, boutique.
people would love that, man.
They would love that because that'd be like European. That makes too much sense.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and that'd be very hip
yeah.
because people would want to stay there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and be part of that scene. You're gonna be a younger crowd too, and they'd be going to those clubs, and they would help that economics of those clubs because it doesn't matter what location you're in. There's always it's the toughest business there is.
Yeah.
Clubs, restaurants.
Sure.
You know, so let's get that going.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the mayor's. They're talking about that they're going to buy. The city is willing to give land to the province to develop.
Okay.
So they can
SROs.
invest those,
Yeah.
but spread them out,
Of course.
and then fix up that.
Yeah, just
like you said, they're going to fix the ground. They
They
want to
need
make it
to.
a marquee spot.
Yeah.
That and Robson area, all that.
Yeah, Robson and
Robson, yeah, maybe
That's
for
a great
shopping
street,
or
too.
whatever, but Granville, that should be the nightlife, man. That should be all neon lights and party till 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I missed
That
the
should
talk
be-
about when we're talking. I missed the days with the neon lights in the city.
Well,
We
neon
were
lights
known
are-
for that. We were known.
Well, go
for
to Burnaby and see the old Eagle from
Yes.
Eagle
Yeah, I saw
Motors.
that.
Yeah.
And also the Helen's.
Helen's is there.
Helen's.
Yeah, it's
That's
still
been there forever. I grew up there.
Yeah.
On that street. You know, mind you, I grew up in Quarter Island,
Mhm.
down the coast. But, and then I moved to Burnaby. Unfortunately, I was born here. I lived in Burnaby till I was 4 and 5, and then I went to Quarter Island. But neon lights are always going to be attraction, but they should have a bylaw as far as the creation of them and what the style, like the Eagle Motors and the Helens and shit like that.
Oh, yeah. I
But there's
miss
some
those.
bad neon signs.
Yeah,
you know?
they are. Yeah,
It because the real neon, not just the plastic, the real neon.
Yeah.
the real
You
neon.
have to have neon near.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that. I
And that shit's simple. thought process as far as creating a scene.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't think because of the people that are on these councils and that they want to be the one or this or that, and they don't really have. I don't know if they got creative people on those councils or not, or they just kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know who's on them.
I get what you're saying, but because I was saying that to his girlfriend Bonnie. I say, you know,
Hi, Bonnie.
when we were kids,
Hi, Bonnie. What's up?
when we were kids, they had like, you know, you go downtown heading towards you, and there'd be neon signs everywhere, and then they went in a fall or winter when it rained, you could see all the colors on the road,
absolutely, yeah.
and it was like, this is so cool.
Disneyland.
And it was, and everybody would say, Vancouver, its lights at night is so nice, so cool. And then all of a sudden they start taking it all away, and I'm going like, man, now the city's really dull and gray
Well,
now.
there's a bunch of dumb people around. You know, here's something real dumb. Maybe he'll watch it. Joey Shithead.
He's coming on.
Well, you tell him, okay.
He's next.
Joey?
He's one more away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, I've known him forever because they played the Rock Room, and I did, you know, the whole scene there, punk and all that stuff. But I wrote a letter to Joey a year ago saying that I need daily, 6 days a week,
Yeah.
and then they pulled back because I was a senior, and they pulled back the seniors where you get 4 months or 3 months.
Oh.
Okay, which is cool. Senior,
Oh, yeah,
no
that's
discount,
3 months.
right? You save a month. No, it was a good saving. You buy a pass for a year, you save about $125.
Yeah, that's a good savings.
Okay.
So then, then they took it away, and I said, "What? Why did you take that away?" Well, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. And then I said, "So when do I qualify for like a free pass? Like, you know, as a senior?"
You should now.
You know what they said?
What?
You got to be 90 years old.
90 years
What the fuck? 90 years old?
Are you?
Come on, man.
They
What?
don't even
Nobody's
allow-
even living at 90 years old. Maybe I will be. I don't know.
You will.
but you know, but the bottom line. So I wrote Joey this whole long letter
Yeah.
about, like, come on, man. I'd love to appear in front of council and find out what kind of decision making is make a decision that you get a free pass at 90. Don't you want to keep your seniors healthy? Isn't that good for the health,
Exactly.
for the medical system
You
and the
nailed
whole
it.
nine yards?
You just nailed
A
it.
lot of these people are marginal. They won't go to this, but they got it for free.
Fixed
Even
income.
80, even
Fixed
80.
income. Oh, it should be 80.
It should be 70.
Oh, it should be 75. It should be
No, it should be,
75.
At
it
least
should be
that.
70 because
Yes,
that's,
I agree.
people, fuck, I don't know anything. When I was 70, I was, you know, I still get a hard on.
Yeah.
Do it at 65, man. Retired, go swimming.
No, okay. Sorry, right?
65, you retired, go swimming.
I'm just saying,
Why
yeah.
not?
90. That's
Somebody
90.
said, by the way,
That is. I think were they on drugs at that time when they signed that?
when they made that
That
decision,
council, yeah.
I don't know what was going down, but 90 is a joke. I said it's a joke, it's a joke. Please let me come to the meeting and let me talk and explain and tell them how old I am and all that shit. I said, then I got wisdom, but there's not a lot of wisdom left behind giving, you can't get a free pass until you're 90.
That's insane.
That's a
But you know what
ripoff.
they do at that pool too, you know, when people are in that close to that age group, you know, they make sure, like, I've seen it, where they ask people, like, you know, are you okay health-wise? And they will watch you in the pool, like the lifeguards that, if you're
Okay,
79,
yeah.
they actually start watching and making
Have they been
sure.
watching you lately?
No, they leave me alone. They only watch me when
They don't watch me, which is good.
they don't watch you.
Anyways, yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, but what I was saying is like, yeah, I mean, so they don't even allow people at close to that age sometimes in the pool if they're not well or they're worried about them falling or hurting themselves. They don't. They say sorry. No, you know we can't allow. They had one guy who was a regular, was at that age. He came. He wasn't as well as he used to be, and at close to 90. And they said to him, sorry, and he was really upset
Well, he
because he'd
probably
been there
was.
his whole life, right? And
Well,
so
that's kind of rude.
it is kind of rude, right? You know, they should have let him still come and maybe have somebody with him. So you bring somebody with you
Right.
to watch you, and then we have him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
that's why 90 free is stupid because
Yeah.
nobody's coming.
nobody's going to do it. That's why.
Yeah. So now Joey, tell Joey that, will you?
I will when we. I will.
Yeah,
when
just-
we'll talk to him, bring it up.
give him a. I wrote that letter. I took a lot of time writing.
I'm gonna say Gary Taylor wants
I'm
you
gonna
to respond
find
to.
that letter. I'm gonna send it to you,
You do that.
and then you're gonna put it down here, and you're gonna fucking say, "What's up with this?" That'd be very cool.
I would be. I do it. I'll do it.
I'll send it to
I'll
you.
do it.
I got the letter.
I know,
I
Joe.
got
I'll do
it.
it.
I got the
Joe, if
date
you're
on it, the
watching,
whole 9
you
yards.
better get ready.
Yeah, you're gonna stump him. Man.
Yeah. We
Yes,
want a response, buddy.
Yeah, because Joey's what? He's 65 or 60?
Oh, he's got to be more than
70?
that.
70?
Yeah. He's got to be in his late 60s.
Yeah. So now he became one of them, okay?
Yeah.
He became one of them.
Oh, yeah.
He lost the punk and became one of them. Okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Well, no, he has.
Tell him I said that too. Fuck you, Joey.
Yeah.
Because you know my brother used to coach him in lacrosse.
Yeah.
I told you
Yeah.
that. Which was David too.
Yeah. No.
Okay, let's move. More music or what?
Yeah, let's talk more music.
More
Let's
music.
I
Well,
would.
yeah, did you know that I played for the Temptations when they came to Vancouver?
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been a nice view.
That was, yeah. That
You're here and
put
there.
it this way, Duras Maxwell,
Yes.
Skylar,
Yes.
friend of mine, Ted Lewis,
Yes.
originally was his name.
Yes.
And we all took lessons at the same time from Jim Blackley.
Oh, Jim Blackley owned
Yeah,
Village
I-
Drums.
The village.
Drum Village. And
He's
I
dead
took,
now.
I know, but I took lessons there when I was a little. My dad took
Is
me
that what
there.
happened to you?
Yeah.
Look, sir.
My dad took me there because my dad was we call it a trombone player
Okay.
in jazz.
Wow.
And he
What was
played
his
with Dave Kinnick. And he,
Okay.
and he
I played with
knows
Dave
that-
Robbins. You ever heard of him?
Yeah. And so my dad played in the Tommy Dorsey band.
Wow, okay.
And he toured up and down the coast in the U.S. and stuff. And so my dad, when I was young, of course, said, "Oh, I want to be like the Beatles, right?" You know. And so he says, "Let's go to my buddies." And we went to
Blackley.
Yeah, we went to Drum Village.
Drum
right?
Village on
And
Broadway.
on West Broadway, West Fourth, right where all the hippies were.
No, Broadway,
Oh.
not Fourth.
Was it West Broadway?
Totally Broadway. Fuck, listen. I
That's
took
right.
lessons from him. I became one of the main proteges.
Yes.
Terry Clark, Al Wirtz,
Yeah,
Ted, Juris Maxwell, and then I ended up teaching with him.
yeah.
I taught for
You taught there too.
2 years with him, and he was a huge influence in my life.
There's some really cool. I went there for a little bit, just because I just tried a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's
but like, you know what? Very cool place, and they were really nice people.
Oh well, Jim
Yeah.
Blackley and his wife were.
Yeah, they're
friends.
super cool.
I grew up with pretty well him because I started taking lessons off him when I just turned. I quit
Yeah,
university
really cool
and
place,
I quit.
gosh.
I started taking lessons.
Very cool place for musicians just to even hang out back then. Very cool, like everything.
Well, it was a big development in drummers, big time.
Yeah,
More, you know.
yeah, very much so.
But but anyway, about the Temptations. Okay, so yeah, okay, fine. And now I wasn't proficient as Ted was, or Duras was with the R&B. I was really good, but he was A1. And so I went and played. Scariest moment of my life. All black dudes at the Cape Subical time, and I'm there, and like I'm just thrown into it because he got
Yeah.
sick,
Yeah.
so I had to ad lib everything.
Wow.
Pretty tough shit. So, but it was an experience, you know, and I did it, and that was good because Ted phoned me about a year before he died, and guy, I wonder if do you remember that you subbed for me with the Temptations? I
Wow.
said, oh yeah, man, scariest time of my life. He says, oh yeah, we talked for a while and all that, because we knew each other, we weren't real close or nothing, but you know who I talked to all the time? B.J. Cook.
Oh, okay.
You know B.J. Cook?
Yeah.
David Foster, and
Yes.
Skylar.
Skylark.
You know Skylar? Steve Pugsley?
Yes, I know the whole band.
Yeah, the whole band, and all those guys. Steve Pugsley played at Gary Taylor Show Lounge.
Yeah.
That's the bass player with Jerry Counter.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, God, I go like a long way. And
How about the Cave? Did you ever play the Cave?
Well, that was the Cave of the Temptations.
You did the Cave at the Temptations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and
You
of course
ever
I was
heard
very
of it?
I
impressed.
heard of it. I hear it on that.
Cave
jazz
Supper
show
Club?
on
Unreal
CBC.
place.
That was the best place to do it. It was big time. 800, like we don't have nothing like that. It was crazy. Tiered seating, balcony, booths, first class. Las Vegas.
Seems like a cave.
Major acts.
Where
Right
was
on
it?
Harvey, right by
600
the-
Black Harvey, which is right next to the Devonshire.
Because my
Hotel.
mom's lawyer was part owner in there.
Of the cave?
Yeah.
What was his name?
I can't remember his name, but
Okay.
he was part
Ken
of it.
Stauffer was the main guy.
Yeah.
And then Stan Guzino.
Yeah.
Stan Guzino.
Probably
also.
might have been him. And-
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was a lawyer, but bottom line.
Yeah, so one was the lawyer that, because my mom used to get free tickets to go there because he would just go here, go to the shows.
Yeah, right.
So I would go there and watch, like, you know, I went in and I
It was a
watched
shame some of those.
John Lee
guys-
Hooker and, you know, B.B. King.
Oh, they had everyone there.
Yeah, everybody, even rock acts like Brian
Roy
Adams.
Orbison.
Roy Orbison was unreal.
Right.
Well, you know Les Lowe, don't you?
Yeah, Les Wall.
You know, he was my partner at the Purple Series. Him and I go back. He was our first manager with the Classics.
Wow.
I don't know if you know that, but Les managed Roy Orbison for 5 years. Did you know that?
No.
Les moved to Nashville,
Wow.
and he managed. He knew Barbara, and he was Roy loved him, and he managed him. He was part of that comeback for a
Yeah.
while. And but yeah, Les and me put together because Larry Branson, you know that name?
That's familiar.
Larry Branson, he was a Roy Orbison, emulate.
Oh,
Orbison,
yeah,
okay?
okay. Oh, yeah,
And he
yeah.
was unbelievable. So what happened was we had a recording of him, and I was in Cannes, France, and one of my missions was to try to, just turn people onto this Roy Orbison guy who was Larry Branson was unbelievably authentic, and so I'm not sure what ammunition I have, but anyway, nothing happened in Cannes, but I went to London, and then I'm going through the papers, and I see this big one full-page ad of nostalgia acts, all kinds of all kinds of stuff, at a big theater, and this guy. So I phoned the company up, went to the company, and I knew it was a real thing because it was right in the district of where all the, what is it, Soho, was it?
Yeah, Soho, yeah, you're right.
Where all the theaters are.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, the West End,
I go in, and upstairs, that was my partner at the time, Gary Bishop, and I got this presentation, and I say, well, Roy Orbison, and this and that. As soon as I'm on the phone to get that thing, I said, Roy Orbison. Little did I know. So I went there, and kind of a cool story. We sat. He says, "Let's sit down, Mr. Bill Kenwright." That was his name. Yeah, that was the kingpin. He's one of the kingpin producers, like Andrew Lloyd Webber. He was. Nobody was as big as him, but he was big.
Like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, okay, fine. We sit down, and then something happened. He says, "Oh, Mr. Kenwright's going to be busy, so he can't see it." That's fine. So we start to get up to go. Oh, wait a minute, now Mr. Kenwright will see you. And then we walk into the office, unbelievable. Julie Andrews, all the top English actors are hitting the big high seat, and this guy's got the big hair. He looks elegant, the whole 9 yards, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
And he says, so we sat down. I said, well, Gary, he says, listen. He says, you've come at the right time, because we've been sitting on a play of the story of Roy Orbison, but we couldn't find anybody.
Oh, wow.
And
You're right at the right time.
so
right
I
in here.
was there at the right time.
Wow.
And then then he was all over us with his right-hand guy. They took us to a big, that show that I'd seen in the paper.
Yeah.
And it was in one of those incredible theaters
In UK, yeah.
and it was great. And then what happened, because Larry was playing in Las Vegas in a review, and Bill's right-hand guy and another guy flew into Vegas. I flew into Vegas. We've seen Roy Orbison and Larry Branson. Unbelievable. Hired. Made a hell of a deal. We made a lot of money. We did really well.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
I was less vote.
See how cool that is? Gary was at the right time,
Yeah,
right
that's
moment.
right.
Well, that's what happens when you keep your foot in. When you keep your feet moving, something will happen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. That's why when you're 90 or 100, it's hard to keep feet moving.
Yeah, sure.
So shit don't happen.
So they should be able to go swimming.
I was gonna say,
You can always swim. That's what I tell
Same
people. You can always swim. That's why swimming is the key. And I got into it when I was 33 years old because I was going up with the Olympic swimmer.
You hear that,
Huh?
Keithley? You hear that, Keithley? Let's go!
Keith?
Joe Keatley.
Show you shit at. You hear that? Let these guys go swimming.
Are we finished?
No,
no.
he's just getting a beer.
Oh,
You want another
okay.
one, you okay?
Yeah, give me another one, because this is getting warm.
There you go.
I never finish a beer, it's against my religion.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that
So,
is.
Gary, let's what else did we talk about stuff?
Mm.
Oh, you got a new place that you're booking too on Commercial Drive, you're saying, right?
I do, yeah, it's a place called the Apollo on the corner of 5th and Commercial.
Oh, it's freezing.
And, thank you. 5th and Commercial, and, very cool place. You haven't been to it, eh?
No, no.
It's probably, I wouldn't be there unless it was a cool room.
Yeah.
It's a cool room, got a stage and this and that, and I've got a lot of good acts playing there. Last week, do you know Melanie Decker?
I know Melanie really well. Yeah.
She played there with a 4-piece with...
With her husband? Boyfriend?
Your
Keyboard
boyfriend,
player.
yeah.
Drummer. Rob.
Drummer.
No, Rob's a keyboard player.
He was playing drums that night.
Okay.
Just a snare drum.
Okay.
And there, and then Sam Societ, you know him?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Sam was playing, a great bass player.
Yeah.
But I this Friday...
Is that a jazz room? Is that
No,
jazz?
Jazz. Well, he's a jazz player.
Okay.
He plays with everybody, but
A little bit of everything.
she's a little bit of everything, you know.
Yeah.
And then this Friday is Tobacco Brown.
Oh yeah.
Tobacco is one of my favorite all
I
time.
know.
Us too.
Is he playing there this weekend?
He's playing Friday.
I'm gonna go and see him Friday.
It starts at 7:30 too, which is early, so you can get to bed early. Okay.
No, I'll be there to see him.
He's great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all the acts there are from world to pop to jazz, but mostly world and jazz. You know, and the only reason I do that, because it's certainly not about the money, is because there's no real cover charge, $5. Not everybody pays, but it's a cool room, and I'd like to just keep in touch with the Vancouver music scene. You know, the top.
And you're doing a good thing because there's not a lot of places to play right now.
No, that's one of the reasons I'm there, because I know I bring a lot to the table, and I respect the owner that he's actually paying the bands.
Yes.
Right?
Which is good.
And it's not that bad, and
No.
they make tips, and they get a meal, they get a drink, the whole 9 yards,
So nice.
you know?
Yeah, that you don't see that anymore.
Well, I don't know what you see, because I don't go out, because I don't go anywhere except for this kind of thing, and I never went anywhere unless I owned it or I was making some money.
Yeah.
I've owned about 10 clubs,
You have.
about that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
5 restaurants.
Yeah, you've been on the scene for a long time.
I should be 90.
And
You'd
you
be
can go
swimming.
swimming for free.
That's what Gary would be every day if he had to pull.
Yeah, it's all free.
It's all free.
Yeah, go
Fuck you.
for it.
I'm going for it.
But the Vancouver scene, you know, in researching for my book,
Yes.
it's blowing my mind, because I never seen, because I never paid attention to it, and I didn't care about publicity, and I just, like, I was always focused, and unbelievable articles written about me and the clubs. It's amazing. I thought, okay, my book is really coming shape. And then when I was in Madison, Wisconsin, I was in Madison, Wisconsin.
You
Okay.
told us last time a bit about it, yeah.
Yeah, Madison, Wisconsin, the Paramount Music Hall. So many write-ups and so much stuff. And then how I got run out of town too. Because of hip-hop, right?
Yeah.
That's a long story, but that's in my book too, because the headline there's 2 chapters on Madison, and it's music, madness, mayhem, and racism in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Little did I know, when I went down and moved, I went home down there with a partner out of LA, and we were the talk of the town. They pretty well gave me the keys, you know, because I had a great place. And the main room held 1,000, and the other room held 200. And I had jazz and blues and all the top jazz guys, the blues guys from Chicago, because it's 2 hours from there.
That's 2 hours, yeah.
And then I had everybody from Cheap Trick to Death to Bone Thugs and Harmony to
Wow.
Branford Marcellus to Billy Cobham to
Billy Cobb was
oh yeah,
real.
Oh yeah.
That must have been a
I
phenomenal show.
Lydia Lunch, Babes in Toyland. Yeah. I mean, Insane Clown Posse. You remember that?
Yeah.
I've got 50 images of posters of all the ones that I did. 50 minimum.
Good.
Yeah, I got just all done, and plus I got articles. They wrote articles. I didn't know the articles were there. They were amazing articles. How this one lawyer wrote an article about how unfair they treated me. It was almost a whole page. And then next to that is my last show at the Paramount to fuck everyone up was a Miss Wisconsin pageant, which was, you know, guys dressing as girls and doing the whole thing. You know, that was my last show at the Paramount.
Big drag show.
Drag show. In fact, that was the headline. Oh, what a drag. The Paramount closed down. Closing down, oh, what a drag.
That's funny.
And it was a total sellout.
Yeah,
Total sellout. Sold out.
People love that stuff, man. People love that stuff.
Love it. It doesn't, you can, it's not like you're gonna be gay or whatever, it's entertainment.
Yeah, it's just fun
Yes.
stuff.
Because they go all out. I learned about that world because you know what happened to? When I bought a home in Madison on Fox Avenue, the guy across the street was a cross-dresser.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I didn't know that until one day when I so many fucking stories. Anyway, one day it was in the snow and it was snowing, and then I somehow got to this because I was using this guy's phone, Shane Gurney, who was a great guy in music. But the reason I was using his phone because our phones got cut off. We had some problems,
Right.
so I had to ride my bike in the morning, but it wasn't snowing much. And then by the time, you know, like 4 or 5, so I had to phone Tom to pick me up, the guy across the street. And I really didn't know his life. So anyways, he picks me up, and he picked me, I get in the car, and I thought, motherfucker's got lipstick on, the dress on, the whole 9 yards. What the fuck's
What's going
well,
on?
you look good, Tom. You look good. Thanks a lot. You know, it's like, you know, but there's a lot of episodes in that.
You could do a movie, Gary.
Well, it will be a movie. I don't know if it will be. It's like, I am a humble guy, believe it or not. But
you are, but it's a lot of funny, good stories.
Oh, that's it. That's why it's humor.
The Many Lives of Gary Taylor.
Yeah, there's a lot of chapters. Like,
Oh, there's all kinds of shit that he
Well,
knows.
what about you,
I mean, Vancouver must have been, like I said, back when you were doing the rock room in the office, all that. I mean, the stories must be unreal for the bar scene. I mean, there must have been just crazy
nobody was
shit
worried
going
about
on.
getting killed or molested or whatever.
Not
You know?
downtown, yeah.
It was innocence.
Yeah,
It was
right.
it. I was innocent. I
Yeah.
was still am innocent, for Christ's sake. You can
Yeah.
see. Don't I look innocent?
Yeah.
I'm innocent.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm innocent, it was me.
No, you know, I mean, like, seriously, because you are right about that. I mean, nobody would worry back then. You know, even as a kid, when I was young, when I was in my, you know, young teens even, I could go downtown on a bus and come home I'd walk home at 3 o'clock in the morning.
no problem.
And nobody would harass me, nobody would bother me.
Yeah, right.
And you were fine. You do that nowadays, the chances of me getting home may not happen. Right?
You run.
Yeah, you
don't
run
walk.
what you don't
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Because
And,
now-
and it's a good idea to wear black.
Yeah.
Because people like that wear, like that's what I learned when I used to go to New York a lot. I noticed everywhere you wear black. So I made sure, stand tall and wear black and look them in the eye. Nobody talks to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because only cowards.
Yeah, right.
that.
But New York must have been like that back then, right? It was really rough.
Oh yeah, it was rough then. And
Yeah.
that's why I kind of learned people that, like, no, and so nobody fucked with me.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Plus I'm a drummer, I got rhythm.
Yeah.
I can play. I don't play anymore, but the cross I play.
Lacrosse, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the game.
Part of the game. Yeah.
I mean,
In fact,
when
you know
it's-
what happened?
When it's legal, they hit the guy with a piece of
Yeah, it's kind of
piece
fun.
oak. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what do you want, man?
Yeah,
Pretty
and,
much.
lacrosse is, and sport is a huge part of my life. Sport.
You were saying that, yeah.
Well, I mean, did I tell you, when we were playing for the Minto Cup in back east in Hastings, do you know what the Minto Cup is?
Yeah.
Is this the lacrosse cup?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the top cup in junior lacrosse.
Okay.
And then we played in Hastings, and I had a bad shoulder because was playing junior Big Four football and dislocated my shoulder. You ever heard of Frank Smith?
No.
A legendary football coach. He was my coach. Bottom line, that was football. And then my arm got dislocated. My arm was back here.
Oh, no.
And you know that hurts. Eh?
Yeah.
That does hurt, yeah.
So
I
what?
separated
Oh
myself.
my God! I'm
Yeah.
laying on the floor. 4,000 people are booing me because it's you know they're all from there. So they love it, you know,
Yeah,
killing
right,
it. You know,
yeah,
I'm like, I'm in agony. The trainer comes up, pops my shoulder back in, and then they're still going crazy, and then I went crazy. I you know how they have the netting that keeps the balls in?
Oh, yeah.
I crawled up the netting, over the netting, and went into the crowd, and I started swinging it. Yeah.
You went-
Cross.
yeah,
Like,
you
good
just-
old cross game. You know? I'll never forget.
Non-stop action there.
Yeah. And a friend of mine, Bill Bradley, who's an all-star lacrosse player and a Hall of Famer, fuck, he's getting dementia because he did not remember that. Like, you know you're getting dementia when you can't remember something.
Probably a couple concussions.
Huh?
He's probably got a couple concussions, man.
Some people probably more than others, you know. I mean, I got a cousin who played in the NHL
Mm-hmm.
for a while, and yeah, he's got concussions like you're saying. He's
All
got,
kinds
and-
of hips and shit like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, and he gets these headaches that they're so bad that he has to go sit in the dark, right? You know.
Ah.
Yeah.
See,
Like
you
you
know,
think about like playing hockey or lacrosse, that's what I did anyway. And anytime you get your bell rung, that's a concussion, man.
yeah, but in the old days, there was no protocol.
No.
No, there
protocol.
wasn't. That's right.
Yeah, he'll take you into the things. You know.
Right.
Like
You just
probably
get
have to-
going, probably,
Yeah, yeah.
and not thought that something like that happened, right?
The
Oh, yeah.
only time I've ever had a concussion, remember when two girls were sitting on my face. And, and you know, that was it. You know, I staggered out of there. Now, how is the pulse for two girls sitting on your face? That's tough, but it happened.
It does happen.
But the concussion did. That was just, you know.
It's dangerous.
Okay. So, yeah, now the book, and of course I've got an Andy Warhol project.
You told us about that.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That is so cool, eh? Yeah.
Majorly cool.
Yeah.
I just had an hour and a half Zoom in Hong Kong. I've got these. I got partners in Hong Kong, San Francisco, and Chicago, and we had a big Zoom the other day because it's a long-term thing. It's complicated, but we're doing NFTs and a whole bunch of stuff with this because I met Andy in Paris. Did I say that?
No, you never
No,
told
you
us
did
that part. Come on, tell this story quickly.
Yeah.
You met Andy Warhol.
Oh yeah.
See, right time, right place again.
And
You're
that-
kind of like Al Harlow. Al Harlow was the same thing. Al Harlow was telling us this story. He's in New York after Prism does a tour with Meatloaf, and then he goes aside to pick some clothes up, doesn't he? Right? And he can't get into the clothing store in New York
Mhm.
because there's somebody else in there that's real famous.
Oh.
So he goes. So finally they check Al's, you know, who he is. Oh yeah, okay, now you can go in. He goes in and it's Peter Frampton. So he hangs out with Peter Frampton and they're changing clothes. You wear that? How do you like it?
Yeah.
He says he walked out with brand new wardrobe, and he thought, like you said, him and Rocket Norton go. I thought, oh, we're rock stars. You know, we'll get the best hotel in New York. We get chauffeured around. Didn't realize the record company's billing them.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You come back. We got no money."
Yes, that's right. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of good talking points.
Yeah.
You know?
So how did you bump into Mr. War?
Well, I was going to Mesdames, you know Mesdames?
Yes, I know me, Dan.
I
Yeah, the music
go there every year, and I was with actually Peter Carroll, you know Carroll.
I know
Brothers?
Peter Carroll
Peter,
really well.
yeah.
We used to follow the Carroll brothers
Well,
around
he
the
was,
circuits.
well, they played my rock room. I mean,
Yeah.
he was my partner with Annihilator. That's him
Yeah.
and I managed Annihilator. We
Yeah.
got them all started.
Yeah, and he manages Biff Naked.
Biff Naked.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm walking along the airport, through the airport, Charles de Gaulle, and
Yeah.
and then I spot Andy walking on,
Wow.
whatever they call it, where everybody walks, and I've got about 8 people with me because we're all going to Mesdames.
Yeah.
Peter, someone, Gary Bishop, and some other people, and I see Andy walking, and he's got like a flying V going on, and there's about 20 people in there. And he's in the middle. It's just that's the way Andy rolled, I guess. And of course, how could you not recognize Andy? It was not what you could say. Is that Andy Warhol?
Yeah.
Well,
That's Andy Warhol.
right away at that time. So, okay, I got to meet this guy. This is, by the way, how I got a lot of my dancers dancing. Because if I spotted something that was outstanding, I wasn't afraid to talk.
Yeah.
So anyways, of course, Andy Warhol's wasn't a dancer, and he was world famous. But so what I did was quick thinking. I walking towards him, and then they started to go, Andy, Gary Taylor here, Gary Taylor, Vancouver, you know, and of course he thought he knew me.
Right.
That's a smart move.
Yeah,
That's a smart thing to
and I'm moving towards him, and just go, Gary, and I got right up to him. I says, and he said, Gary Taylor, Vancouver, but you don't know me, okay?
Yeah.
But here we are. So his whole entourage split. I'm standing there with Andy. We had a good chat, the whole 9 yards, and coincidentally, he was the publisher or the editor of Interview magazine at the time. Okay,
Wow, I didn't know that.
and then also, which was good, our conversation went on for about 10-15 minutes. I was managing Long John Bolt, and that's why I was there. And he was a friend of Long John Bolt. He knew Long John real, you know, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And then we were setting up like an interview and all that.
Yeah,
and that was
yeah.
the plan, you know. I got all the contacts and that. And so that's it, you know. And then what happened? So well, you know, here's my airline jacket. So what he did was he drew one of those kids' airplanes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he signed it.
Oh shit! You still got that?
That's what I'm doing now. It's crazy what it's on my wall frame in a secure place.
Yeah, good.
But dig this, he died 3 weeks later.
Oh wow!
Huh?
Right place, right time again.
Shit.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for Andy. Sorry, but like, but
Well, for
yeah,
Andy,
but,
for
but
sure.
you know what,
Everybody dies, huh?
but that's what I mean. Like he did with the Oregon guy. It's see, that's how shit. Always tell that to guys.
Keep your feet moving, something happens. And also, if you can keep your feet moving and something happens, if you keep your mouth moving in a good way, more shit happens.
Yeah, that's like we.
Mouth to feet coordination. Okay.
That's like we played the whiskey in LA one time.
Yep.
And I think I told Ash's story. So we played there, and so the night before Alice Cooper played. So
Wow.
the sound man says to me, he goes, I said, oh, I heard Alice was here last night. How did Alice do? He says, oh, really good. It was packed. I says, I looked over and he's getting this mic stand thing. He says, you want to use this mic stand? Alice used it last night. I says, yeah, I'll use that. He goes, I says, what about that mic that he spit in? He goes, yeah, I used that one. I says, give me that too.
Yeah.
The guy goes, I like you. So anyways,
Yeah,
we come back to Vancouver a week later.
Alice Cooper.
No, we did.
Oh, you did.
We come back a week later. We're playing the Roxy, and guess who's in the building? Alice Cooper's band. He's playing at the Orpheum.
God.
And so the band walks up to us and goes, we saw you at the Roxy, the Whiskey a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
I was in there. And so everybody goes like, holy shit. So I go, where's Alice? He goes, oh, Alice is in our hotel. He's not coming out.
He's not coming out.
And I says, okay. So they says, where's that place to jam? And I says, I don't know, not a lot of places. So I said, we can't do it here because they got the house band coming on. So I says, oh, let's call up the railway. So we call the railway. I know the owner of the
Of course,
railway.
already there.
And I call him and I says, hey. I says, Joe here. And he goes, hey, Joe, how are you? You know, you're looking for a booking? I says, no. I says, what are you guys doing right now? He goes, what do you mean? I says, got the guys from Alice Cooper's band. They want to go and jam. Can we we'll bring our band over and we're going to jam with them. So, and they might want to go long. So we might go longer than that.
Yeah.
I said, it's your call. He goes, yeah, we'll get the band to finish early and you guys come in and we'll do a big jam.
So you did that?
Yeah, we did. It was great.
Well, that's synchronicity.
See, yeah.
Do you know Trevon?
No.
He's a pretty cool guy. He's a singer-songwriter. That's another story. But yeah, so what I've done now is with Andy's airplane. I've brought Andy's airplane to life through animation.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and it takes a trip out of the airplane jacket from Charles de Gaulle Airport to JFK, and then I've got written this theme song, Andy Warhol, with my artist out of Nashville. Fucking, it's so cool. and it's so childish like, which we need more of that
Sure, yeah.
shit, because everything, you
Yeah.
turn everything out like, whoa, and even the child stuff is kind of weird. But anyways, that's the Andy Warhol thing is moving along, and I've got a whole presentation and a great animated 3.5 minute animation of me animated meeting Andy
Wow.
up to the point then
Wow.
when the plane takes off.
That's so cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
That's
And, and we're doing a whole build up to it, and then we're going to auction it off to Christie's or one of the big ones or whatever. But we're building 7 NFTs, each little story segments, hype. I've got all these brilliant people that I know nothing about as far as, I'm the guy that gets it all together.
You put it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with Andy Warhol. And it's called Andy Warhol, flying to New York with the greatest of ease. That kind of shit.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
well, it was great meeting him. And you know what? His right-hand guy who documents him around the world, famous photographer Christian Marcus, I called him up about, 5 years later and said, hey, did Bob Gary? Him and I met in New York, hung out with his partner. Christian Marcus is totally famous also, but not as famous as Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol's one of his last big things, sold for $300 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Unreal.
cool.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
So
Great
that's our
stories.
little one there, yeah.
Great stories. We're gonna have you back again soon, sometime. 'Cause
Yeah.
you got more to go. I know.
Oh, man, what? Come on, man. I'm like fucking 83 years old. I'm gonna have,
Should hope
I
so.
got.
Actually, I think last time we talked to Tommy Stewart, Tommy or Al said they would love to sit down with Gary too.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I think it was Al Harlow
Mhm.
or Tommy Stewart. I think they both said that.
Yeah.
What?
Because they'd like to come and sit down with you here.
Oh, we could also
Shoot the shit.
We
Yeah,
should do that.
That'd be fun.
we should. I
Do a
think.
little group.
Yeah,
super
I
fun.
mean, they both would love it, right? You know, they
Yeah.
both said, why don't we get together with Gary and sit down
Yeah.
and shoot the shit, right?
Anytime you want.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
it.
set that up. That'll be fun with.
Yeah, a little different. Have some fun.
Yeah,
Can
because
we
then
bring
we
a
got
girl in?
sure.
We'll start out with the girl taking her clothes off.
No,
That's rock and roll, isn't it?
It
Why do you
is.
think everybody played Gary Taylor's fucking rock room? Okay.
well I know. I played your
I
place a few times.
mean, everybody. I like a lot of
I
famous
liked it
bands
up there. I
played
told you I liked that room.
Oh no, I really loved that room. It was a hot room because it was small. You're right
That
there.
whole strip was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
His place, the cave, and then you had Kaizon cooking
Sugar
great
daddies.
food,
Sugar
great food,
daddies.
sugar daddies, and you had the hotel
Honey's.
and the Georgia Hotel, right?
The Devonshire Hotel, and the Devonshire was right there on that street.
Yes.
In the corner.
Yeah,
Iconic.
iconic area.
Yeah.
And you know what? Great place to party. It was, like you said, never a problem
No.
in that area.
No.
Hardly ever anything would go wrong.
No. Nothing.
You know? And
No,
then,
it was.
and then a lot of people used to go. I used to play, but you would have loved this place, Ash. Another cool place was the Jolly Miller Pub.
Oh yeah.
The Jolly Miller was just this tiny little bar about the size of your place here, and it was so everybody in the offices downtown would go there and then go to Gary's afterwards. But they'd start off at like 2:33 in the afternoon till 5, and they would just eat and drink in that pub,
Mhm.
and then they move over to like Gary's place and all up Hornby. They'd start going up Hornby and hang out.
You could see everything from good music to beautiful girls.
Yeah.
And everything in between. And,
Yeah.
And everything was innocent because we were innocent. What the fuck do we know?
It was a cool.
Now nobody's innocent.
It was a cool city.
Even little kids are innocent.
No, they're
Because they're
complicit.
seeing more shit than we could ever see. We never seen that shit.
Yeah.
No.
How old are you now?
57.
Okay, see, so you grew up in some good golden ages.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And of course I grew up in happy days.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, I was so naive that, in fact, Jim Blackley gave me my first car. It
Wow.
was a 48 Chrysler.
Wow.
Yeah, it was his car. He was getting a new one, so he gave me his car because I worked for him. We were real close. And I remember in Vertigo driving the car, and all of a sudden it stopped. I thought, fuck. And I couldn't figure it out, but looking under the hood, the whole 9 yards, I was saying, well, did you check the gas? Running the gas. I didn't know. I was 16 or
Yeah,
17. So,
Yeah, you gotta put gas on.
Yeah, I got a problem if you don't do that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a car once where I didn't check the oil, and because the oil thing was broken, and I never checked it. And then when you stood the car, I went, boom!
Yeah.
It just popped.
That was it. Yeah.
That was it. My friend says, "Oh, now you did it. You popped it." Well, thanks everybody. Thanks to Gary, Ash.
Thanks you guys. Good show. Keep it up.